Ideation to execution, going from here to here. That is the magic. The speed at which you can go from ideation to execution is the magic. When I think about how to compare this metaphorically, I think about winter's about to break, right? The trees are changing. We're gonna go from fall to winter fast. And we gotta get the factory built. We gotta get it weather tight. We gotta get it insulated, and we gotta get it warm. Build it, weather tight, insulated, and heat. Insulation and heat. Ideation to execution follows that same formula. And right now, I'm really thinking that we should move our factory store in Farmington, Maine into Boston for the holiday season. The reason that I haven't executed on anything like this in the past is because we're not prepared to go and sign 5-year long-term leases, spend big dollars on testing out a theory without a better skill set in the company, retail division. But there is an opportunity we have potentially to do a pop-up store in Faneuil Hall near kind of Quincy Market. I guess what I've learned is after COVID, a lot of the retailers, they just couldn't sustain their business right there. And so there's some empty shops, and it's the 13th most visited tourist destination in the world, Faneuil Hall and Quincy Market. And I got to vet those numbers, but that's like 1 million people to 1.5 million people a month walking through that area. And so I'm going to be speaking with the property manager there and seeing if there's a possibility of doing just a fall, early winter, more of a fall, say, fourth quarter pop-up store. So this is the idea. This is the ideation, and I'm seeding it with my team, and I'm trying to get some feedback right now. Over the weekend I did this. I want to know what they think about this idea and this opportunity. And that's how you got to look at it. That's how I'm looking at it is, hey, this is an opportunity. I've been wanting to do retail. Some 26, 27 was going to be the big year. But if there's an opportunity that is potentially low risk and high reward, can we organize around that? Can we get the structure built? Can we get it weather tight? Can we get it insulated? And can we get it warm? Getting the structure built would be, hey, do we have a system that we could do a pop-up shop? Do we have the store fixtures? If not, can we build them so that they're manageable and not overly bulky or heavy, and that they set up quick? And then we got to get it weather tight. We got to make sure it all works in the store. We've got to make sure the internet e-commerce, like our whole point of purchase, works. Getting it insulated. You got to have employees. You got to have folks who know the story. You got to have the right product mix. You got to understand the market of customers who are walking through there, and of course you got to get it warm with the right product filled out, and it's got to feel like the brand. You got to feel like you're walking into Origin in a space that you only may occupy for 3 months. But I would love for another 3 million people to see our logo over the course of the next 90 days, let's say Q4, and or if we could extract 1% of those people into the store and touching and feeling our product, I think it would be a tremendous opportunity. And I know how many of our customers, existing and or people that are aware of the brand, go into Boston either for vacation or business. So the ideation is in my head is complete. It's complete that we want to run retail and we want to do it in the next 24 months. There's an opportunity which might be undeniable, because I heard that this location in, it's basically the strips just outside Faneuil Hall. I think it's all part of the same complex. They're actually allowing vendors and or retailers to come in and pay a portion of sales, which is crazy that they're willing to do this. It just shows probably how bad they've lost since COVID, not being able to keep retailers there, which is really interesting, because I think Origin would crush our footwear, and we're a fall company, and that's the other thing. Having a retail opportunity, a retail presence this fall would be freaking tremendous. So I'm going to be working this week on getting some ideas together visually. I do all the visual stuff, and see if the team has capacity to do kind of the nuts and bolts, brass tacks of it. What would be the investment be? How quickly could it get done? And then what is the ROI? What is our estimated lift? Now, we have a store in Farmington, Maine, I call it a sandbox. It's where we kind of get product in and we test, and it does very good every week. Very consistent. People drive from all over the country to Farmington, Maine to come shop at our little store, our little factory flagship store. So we have a proof point of the volume, the dollar volume that we do here in one little corner of Maine with a population of 10,000 people. And so we should be able to extrapolate that. We should be able to look at the saturation of our customer base in New England and within a 3-hour radius of Boston, kind of compile all that data into an assumption, and we can make an assumption, and then we can bet on that assumption, or not bet on that assumption if the data doesn't lead us to the promised land. I'm not going to sit on it for a week. It's Monday morning. There's a lot of shit going on. We have to render the fat every day. I can't necessarily take capacity away from the team, and so this has to be treated as spec ops, basically business spec ops. And I have to drive it, and I'll probably have to do a lot of the work myself, because there's not a lot of flexibility for delegation. I'll suck Amanda into it. Also, this is kind of stuff she loves, and probably pull some insights from friends in the industry that do retail, that have done pop-ups, and so that's where my head is today. That's what I'm working on this week. I would love your feedback on this idea, doing like a 30-day to 90-day pop-up in Boston, in Faneuil Hall, bringing Origin to the people, which Boston would be our first location. We would open up a pure play Origin flagship store anyways. And so this is kind of a test without a commitment. You get to test something without committing to it. I mean, that's nice. Imagine if you could test a vehicle for 30 to 90 days without committing to it. I mean, sounds pretty damn good to me. Imagine if you could test a house. Imagine if somebody would let you move in their house for 30 to 60, 90 days with really, really low rent and there was no commitment. That would be pretty nice. I'm thinking about this the same way. Well, imagine if we could test our Boston flagship store for 30 to 60, 90 days. That would be pretty awesome. So, got to go see if the team, what their thoughts are on if we have the capacity to do something like this or not. For me, for one, it's an opportunity I don't want to pass up on, and I don't want to create any chaos either. I talk about creating unnecessary chaos. I look at this as insurance, not chaos. Insurance and a creative opportunity. I know you've heard me use that term before. A creative is basically bolt-on. It means that you're doing what you're doing, and then you can bolt something nice and good and new on that lifts the thing you're doing. So a creative opportunity to bolt on to our existing plan to de-risk our fourth quarter and ensure the year to make sure we get the ball over the goal line. That's how I'm looking at this, and a jump start into 2026, a jump start into 2026, and gaining some experiential knowledge by testing and learning. I talk about testing and learning a lot, and so I just wanted to share this with you this morning because you listen to all these concepts, right? I think there's 100 videos now of me talking to the camera, my coffee talks. I think there's close to 100 videos, and it's one thing to talk about it, but it's actually what I do. This is what I do every day. The stuff I'm talking about. So it's I practice it also, and you should practice it too. I think it's important. It's like leadership. Nobody is ever great at leadership. You can practice leadership. Every day you can practice leadership and you'll improve every day, and sometimes you'll take a step backwards too. I don't care the greatest leaders in the world. They're not the best leaders every single day of the year. Everybody has off days, right? And so you have to practice it. Just like walking into the gym and dribbling a basketball on a cold winter morning, and the wood floor is cold and there's not enough bounce, and your hands and your joints are cold and you've got to warm up. You know, like the same thing in leadership. Sometimes your mind is somewhere else and you approach a conversation with a person. You can't just approach them the way you want to. You have to approach them from a perspective that is going to, let's say, create the best environment for exchange and conversation and results. And so leadership is practice. Well, try to practice that every day, but try to practice this every day too. So ideation to execution. So brain to hand. The space between is the magic. That is the place that people fail. They take too long. They go too slow. They think too much. Ideation to execution, fast. Build the shell, get it weather tight, insulate it, get it warm. That's all you got to do. If you can do that, that's the magic, and you'll win. So you can follow this, comment below, let me know what you think about this, about this idea, this Boston Q4 pop-up shop for Origin. If you like it, and any other thoughts on that would be great. Appreciate you.